Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and Operation Absolute Zero is finally available on the PlayStation 4, and of course will be coming to the Xbox One and the PC next week. This is a pretty massive update that adds a lot to the game, but here in this video I want to focus specifically on the black market changes, because things are definitely going to be a whole lot different from here on out. This operation completely revamped the entire black market, and I want to cover all of that here in today's video, so hopefully you guys will all sit back, relax, and enjoy. So starting things off here, the black market now only has 100 tiers, which of course is 100 less than the previous operation. This operation will also be lasting just under 70 days, which is a very long time, and of course supply drops can no longer be earned until after you complete all 100 tiers of the new Battle Pass. The Battle Pass itself has what I would consider to be a lot of big rewards, including the 11th Specialist at Tier 1, the Kilobyte Weapon Camo at Tier 4, and just a note here guys, camos that you get from the black market now are universal, unlike in Call of Duty World War II, where you would get a camo from a supply drop and that camo could only be used on assault rifles, for example, and then you would need to find that exact same camo again for submachine guns, then once again for light machine guns. It was really just a way for them to fill out supply drops in Call of Duty World War II. Well, here in Black Ops 4, if you get a new weapon camo from the black market, it works on all weapons that can actually have camos put on them. We of course get the reactive camo for the KM57 at Tier 20, which looks freaking fantastic, man. One of my favorite looking camos in the game. We have the Secret Santa melee weapon at Tier 25. We have the original Nikolai Blackout character at Tier 45. The Damon 3XB submachine gun at Tier 50. This is a brand new submachine gun in the Black Ops 4 that can be unlocked for free if you simply just get to Tier 50 of the Battle Pass. We of course get the Shimmer weapon camo at Tier 60. At Tier 70, we get the reactive camo for the Spitfire. At Tier 75, we get the Mastercraft variant of the ABR, which is freaking incredible looking. I just wish it was on a better weapon than the ABR, which is one of the worst guns in the game, at least in my opinion. At Tier 95, we get the original Tank Dempsey Blackout character, and at Tier 100, of course, we get the SWAT RFT assault rifle, which looks pretty freaking fantastic. So, aside from those 11 big rewards, the rest of the pass features 13 new specialist skins, which range from rare skins to epic skins, with some of them even being animated and having a medieval theme to them. We have 3 new face paints, 6 new gestures, including rock, paper, scissors. There are 3 new reticles, and of course, about 25 or so calling cards, and then dozens and dozens of sprays and emblems, because of course, they have to fill out the Battle Pass somehow, and unfortunately, that means we get a lot of filler content that lots of people typically don't care about, such as calling cards and emblems. But all in all, I must say, I really do like this new Battle Pass, because there's a steady stream of what I consider to be good content in there, and with daily tier skips and the occasional double tier progress weekend, I think it's going to be really easy for even the average COD fan to get all the way through this pass and unlock all the content. But it's not all great, however, because one thing that really concerns me about this, I talked about this earlier, is that this operation is going on for 70 days. That's absurd, right? We have 100 tiers and 70 days to do all of those tiers, which means that the average fan is going to be able to do 70% of this entire Battle Pass with our daily tier skips, right? Everybody is going to be able to get through this, which sounds good on paper, but that also means we are going to be spending a lot of our time opening supply drops, and I have to wonder how much content have they locked away within those supply drops, right? Because we have learned that supply drop content is exclusive to supply drops. The stuff that we find in supply drops cannot be found at Blackjack shop. You cannot find it in the Battle Pass or anything like that. If they're in supply drops, that's the only way to actually get them, and they're locking away a lot of things within there so far. So as of right now, we do know that you can get Nikolai and Dempsey from the Battle Pass, right, which is pretty good, but Richthofen and Takio are mysteriously missing. So chances are, we don't know for a fact, but chances are that they are going to be locked away within supply drops. And once again, the only way to get to those supply drops is to go through all 100 tiers of your Battle Pass, which is actually worse than systems that we've had in previous years. Right now, I will say it's great that the Battle Pass exists. We're getting lots of free content here, but when it comes to the supply drop content, there is a huge time gate before we can even get to the supply drop content, and then of course, supply drops are random, right? You can go through dozens and dozens and hundreds of supply drops without getting the content that you actually want, so that definitely concerns me a bit about this system. It's very clear to me that this operation is designed for supply drop content, and we don't know exactly what is going to be in there. Now, moving away from supply drops, let's go ahead and talk about Blackjack Shop, because that was also updated today. We can now find a $5 reactive camo for the Koshka, as well as a $3 personalization pack, which is going to bring the return of Cherry Blossom from Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, what's interesting about this is back in the day, actually back during Black Ops 2, we had these $2 personalization packs, which would give you a camo, as well as a calling card and a couple of reticles. Well, here in Black Ops 4, the deal is obviously worse, because we get one camo for $3 without the additional calling card or the reticles, but still, I find it interesting that camos are $3 here in Black Ops 4. I honestly thought they were going to cost more, and when it comes to reactive camos, I'm very surprised to see them at $5. I have to wonder if they're going to change on a weapon-by-weapon basis, because with them charging anywhere from $10 to $20 for full-on weapon variants, charging $5 for the reactive camo, which is what most people get the variants for in the first place, that's really interesting if you ask me. But of course, everybody is going to have a different opinion on the value of cosmetic items, but still, I think there is one thing we can all agree on, and it's that the Valkyrie set is an absolute freaking joke. So it turns out that really cool looking paladin that we saw in yesterday's trailer is going to be part of a $15 bundle, where you also get the Valhalla skin for Ruin. I must say, the sniper looks really good. The Valhalla skin for Ruin looks really good as well, but charging the price of an entire map pack for these two things, as well as a bunch of filler items, is absolutely freaking absurd. The worst part about it, and I've talked about it a lot here on this channel, is that they can't just let you buy the thing that you actually want. Overpriced or not, they can't just let you buy the things that you want. A lot of them are part of these special order bundles, which are designed to grind the time out of you and increase their average player audience retention. So what they've done here is they make it so when you buy this $15 bundle, you then have to go through 8 tiers of your battle pass, which, as we've established, is going to take you anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of in-game playtime, depending on how many tier skips you can actually utilize. The reason why they do this, once again, is because Activision loves telling their investors about the audience retention that Call of Duty has. They brag about how many hours people spend on average on the game, but it's really shady to artificially increase that time by making people grind for something that they paid for, right? The worst part about it, too, it's not as if they give you anything really good. Everything between the Ruin skin and the new sniper variant are just going to be calling cards, which, let's be honest here, most people don't care about calling cards, especially ones that you get from supply drops. Most people care about calling cards that you get for doing really hard challenges, or animated calling cards that look really cool. These are static, boring calling cards, which serve no other purpose but to make it so you have to grind to get the weapon variant that you spend $15 on. That is... It's hard to say because they've done so many things over the years, right? It's really hard to say this, but this seems like a new low for Activision when it comes to microtransactions here in the Call of Duty franchise. But all in all, though, I must say, I'm still pretty happy with the new Battle Pass. There's a lot of great content in there, and while, yes, we need to grind to unlock that content, we aren't paying for the Battle Pass either, right? It's just a bunch of free stuff that we get as a reward for playing the game, which is something we've asked for a very long time here in the series. But, man, going back to it, time-gating content that you paid for is just absolute nonsense in my opinion. As far as supply drops go, I must say I'm worried about them, right? Giving us half of the zombies cast with the new battle pass and the other ones being nowhere to be found is somewhat concerning, because every other Blackout character up until this point could either be earned in-game or purchased via the battle pass, right? Of course, we have the Shadow Man as well as Reaper. If Richtofen and Takio really are in supply drops and can only be obtained in supply drops, I have to wonder what else are they going to be locking in there, because keep in mind, supply drop content is exclusive to supply drops. You can't randomly find supply drop content at Blackjack Shop. You can't find it on the Battle Pass. You can only get it within those supply drops, and as we all know, it's infuriating to have something you want be in supply drops and not be able to earn it, right? It's all luck, it's all RNG. It's why people call it a slot machine. Now, speaking of the slot machine, I've actually been getting a lot of questions about supply drops as of recently, so allow me to answer them now. It has been confirmed by Activision that once Operation Absolute Zero ends, the 2 new guns and the new melee weapon win will become supply drop weapons. Again, going back to that entire idea of you can only obtain that content from supply drops, it's like one step forward, two steps back in that regard. We do not know as of right now if those weapons are eventually going to be directly purchasable at Blackjack shop in the future. As of right now, all we know officially is that those weapons will be put in supply drops when the event ends in February. As for the new specialist, we have no idea what's going to happen to her. I imagine they will be taking the Overwatch route of making Zero free for everybody when the event ends, because it would be really shady to have something as important as a specialist only be available in supply drops or only be available behind like a $10 paywall.
Net call. Hostile gunship establishing air superiority.
Running ice pick.
If you guys don't know, when Blizzard released Overwatch, right from the very beginning, they took this hard stance where they said that all heroes in the game are going to be free, and every DLC hero until the end of time will also be free, because the game would not be balanced if everybody on your team did not have access to every hero. Now, while Activision has kind of taken the opposite approach in recent years when it comes to DLC weapons, I imagine they will borrow Blizzard's approach when it comes to Specialist, right? Because imagine, just for example, that you're trying to play Black Ops 4, but nobody on your team is allowed to play Torque because nobody has Torque unlocked, or Recon because nobody actually has Recon unlocked. That would put your team at a huge disadvantage, which is why I imagine all specialists will be made free. But of course, time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. We have no official confirmation, but given the fact that Zero is unlocked at Tier 1 of the Battle Pass, that seems to suggest she will be free after the event actually ends. Now, as for Blackjack Shop, my advice is knock yourselves out, right? I mean, everybody has a different opinion of the value of cosmetic items, and therefore it's really tough for me to sit here and talk about each different cosmetic item and say whether or not it's going to be worth it. I will say bundle deals are a scam. Making people wait to unlock content that they probably overpaid for is freaking ludicrous. It still blows my mind to this day, but a lot of the other stuff I can kind of get on board with, right? Or say what you want about the individual prices, but $5 for a reactive camo is not the worst thing ever in my opinion. $3 for a personalization camo is a bit pricey, right? But if you really want that camo and you know it can unlock on every single weapon in the game, that may or may not be worth it for you, right? Again, it comes down to personal preference and your own situation. Everybody has a different opinion of the value of cosmetic items here within Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, when it comes to the non-cosmetic items like the weapons, I must say I'm happy that everybody's going to get them via the Battle Pass, but once again, I'm very concerned about the future of this game because Treyarch has said time and time again that Black Ops 4 is going to be a 3-year game, but it seems really counterproductive to annoy pretty much anybody who buys your game after the first 5 months are up, because sure, those of us who are playing during the event are all but guaranteed to get these guns for free, but the people who don't play during this event are going to be subject to the same annoying system that we saw back in Black Ops 3, which I think we can all agree is a huge step backwards. I will say though, going back to it, the Battle Pass content is pretty great this time around, but still, it's good for us now. It's not going to be good for people that play the game later on down the line, because all this content is going to be reallocated to supply drops. I think that pretty much summarizes how I feel about Operation Absolute Zero right now. It's really good for us in the here and now, but in the future, it's going to be really bad for future players and maybe even us, because they seem to have given us a good amount of stuff with the Battle Pass, but a lot of other stuff is going to be locked with supply drops, which means we're really not moving forward, right? We're not really changing the system whatsoever. It's going to be the same system that we had back in Black Ops 3, except we can actually get some content via the Battle Pass, and we can buy some other content via Blackjack Shop. So it's definitely a very interesting time here in the Call of Duty franchise, and I would love to hear what you guys think about Operation Absolute Zero down there in the comment section below. What do you think of all the new cosmetic content? What do you think of the new Battle Pass? What do you think of the operation supposedly lasting for 70 days? Leave all your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you guys all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.